internet. Today I'm going to do my winter book haul. So this book haul covers all of the books that I bought in the months of January, February, and then the first, I guess, half of March, since I'm just now getting time to film this. I decided I want to start doing book hauls more seasonally because that's about how long it takes for me to get enough books that I feel are worth hauling. So without further ado, let's get started on the book haul. The very first book that I bought this year was Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. This is a YA kind of sci-fi dystopian book about a game called Otherworld. It's like a virtual reality game. I read this for the Winter Biannual Bibliothon. This was the group book for that readathon, and that's why I bought it. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Although I have decided that I don't want to buy books for readathons anymore. I want to just get them for the library, just because I already own so many books that I want to try and build my TBR around what I already own, and if I don't own it, I go to the library. But I hadn't really come to that conclusion whenever I bought this, but I am glad that I bought it because I did enjoy it and I want to read the sequel. I can't remember how many books are supposed to be in this series. I think it might be a duology, maybe a trilogy, I don't really remember, but I did enjoy this one. Next, I picked up Career of Evil by Robert Galbraith. This is the third book in the Cormoran Strike series, and I basically bought this because it was on sale for like $6 at Barnes & Noble, and this book is originally $28. So I decided to go ahead and buy it. At the time I hadn't finished the first book. Now that I have, I know that I want to continue on with the series. So now I have all 3 books that have been published. So that's cool. This series is an adult mystery series written by J.K. Rowling under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith, and it's very different but enjoyable. Next, I picked up Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. This is a YA contemporary about a girl who goes to a high school in a small town in Texas and basically starts this feminist revolution with this zine that she anonymously distributes, and I really liked this. I read it in February, so if you want to know more of my thoughts, you can go check out my February wrap-up. But I really enjoyed this, and I highly recommend if you like YA contemporary. Next, I picked up Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings, and you have probably heard of this since Sasha and Lindsay are both booktubers, but it's a YA science fiction novel about space. I don't really know a whole lot about the plot. I think there's like a gang of space pirates, maybe. I don't know. I've actually heard mixed things about it, but I wanted to support Sasha and Lindsay and definitely give it a chance, so I bought it pretty soon after it came out. And I am looking forward to picking it up and checking it out. I also got The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the Owlcrate exclusive cover, so I got it in the January Owlcrate box, which I will link my unboxing down in the description if you want to check that out. But this is a YA fantasy novel about fae, and I have heard pretty much nothing but good things about it, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's been getting rave reviews, so I'm really excited about it. And the last book I got in the month of January was Dear E.G. Waylay, or A Feminist Manifesto and 15 Suggestions by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This is a book that I've been wanting to pick up ever since it came out, and I finally got around to picking it up and also reading it, but it is a letter that she wrote to her friend whenever her friend asked her for suggestions on raising her daughter as a feminist. And though I did not like this as much as We Should All Be Feminists, I definitely enjoyed what she had to say. So if you like Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's writing, or if you like feminist lit, I definitely think you should check this little book out. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to read it, so you can read it pretty quickly. Jumping into the month of February, the first thing I bought was The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and also Blue Lily Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the second and third book in the Raven Cycle series, and I bought these because I read the first book, The Raven Boys, in January, and definitely want to continue on with the series ASAP. I haven't had a chance to continue on yet, but I'm definitely anticipating it, so I'm glad that I already own these books, so that way I can just kind of jump right in. So, this series is a YA fantasy series about paranormal stuff and psychics and ghosts, and it's kind of hard to explain, but the first book was a lot of fun, and everybody on BookTube is pretty much talking about it right now, so I I'm excited that I already have these in my collection. I went ahead and just bought these two because the fourth and final book hadn't come out in paperback yet, but it just did, so I'll probably be picking it up soon as well, if we're being honest. Next, I picked up Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. I got this at a used bookstore, and I'm actually currently reading this as well, but this is a YA contemporary about a girl named Ramona who discovers that she's bisexual, I believe. At the beginning of the novel, she identifies as gay, but I think at some point in the novel she's supposed to discover that she's actually bi. I have not reached that point in the plot yet, but I know it's supposed to happen. And I am enjoying this so far, and also a cool thing about this is whenever I got home after getting it at the bookstore, it was actually donated by somebody who got my book box. So I got the exclusive My Book Box bookmark that was hidden in the book, and a signed postcard from Julie Murphy, as well as a letter from Julie Murphy. And the book is signed as well. So that was a nice little surprise. But yeah, I'm enjoying this, and you will be hearing about it in my March wrap-up for sure. On that same trip, I also picked up The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This is a book that I have been wanting to read for a while, and I've never read it. It's basically become like a modern classic. There's a very famous movie adaptation, there's a Broadway musical adaptation. It's very, very famous, and it's supposed to be very, very good, and I definitely want to read it. And I really, really liked this cover, and it's in really, really good shape. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up, and I cannot wait to read it. And the last book I picked up in the month of February was The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert, and this is, again, the OwlCrate exclusive edition. So if you want to check out my February OwlCrate unboxing, I will link that in the description. But this is another YA fantasy book, I believe, about a girl whose grandmother wrote these like fairy tales about a place called the Hazelwood, and then her mom or her grandmother go missing or something, and so she actually has to travel into this made-up world that turns out to be real. I think that's what this is about. I haven't read it yet, obviously, but I am looking forward to reading it because I've heard pretty good things about this one as well, and I really like the green cover for this edition, so excited to have this in my collection. Now jumping into March, obviously since it's only the first half of the month, I haven't bought a ton of books, especially since I'm trying not to buy a ton of books just in general, but I did recently come back from a vacation, and I got a book from a friend of mine, and also I went to Half Price Books while I was around one, so obviously I got some books. But the first one is called Except the Queen by Jane Yolen and Midori Snyder. And one of my best friends gave me this. She just recently finished it, and I believe it's about fairies. I don't know a whole lot about the plot. I don't really want to know a whole lot about the plot. I kind of want to just jump into it. But she said that she thought I would really, really like it, and so she gave this to me, and I'm excited to read it. Next come a couple books I got at Half Price Books. I unhauled some books. I didn't film an unhaul this time, but I took them with me on my vacation to sell to Half Price Books and got a couple of things in exchange. So the first thing I was excited to find is Nevernight by Jay Kristoff, and this is the UK edition, which I much prefer the UK cover over the US cover. But this is a YA fantasy book. I don't know a whole lot about the plot, but I really like Jay Kristoff's writing. He and Amy Kaufman co-write the Illuminate Files books, and I've been interested in this since it came out, but I've never gotten a copy. So I was excited to find this for like, I think $6 or so. So I decided to take that as an excuse to pick it up. I also picked up Wires and Nerve Volume 2 Gone Rogue by Marissa Meyer and illustrated by Stephen Gilpin. This is the last, I think, last book in the Wires and Nerve graphic novel duology that takes place after the events in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer, which I love, and I loved the first graphic novel, so I definitely want to jump into this ASAP. And the graphic novel series, if you've read the Lunar Chronicles books, or even just some of them, the graphic novel ones are about the story of Aiko, which is the droid, and I love Aiko, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how this story ends. So I'll be reading this soon for sure. And the very last book I have to haul today is one that I actually just bought because I'm so excited about it, and that is The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. And this is the Target exclusive edition. This is a poetry book. This is Amanda Lovelace's second poetry book. The first one, The Princess Saves Herself in this one, is still my favorite collection of poetry I've read. Granted, I haven't read a ton of poetry books yet, but I really loved her first book, and I've been eagerly anticipating the release of this one, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. And like I said, this is the exclusive Target edition. I think the regular edition is white with red letters, and this is, you know, obviously red with white letters. But it also has bonus poems and some other author content, so I'm really excited to read this soon. So that's all for my winter book haul. Let me know down in the comments which books I should prioritize reading the quickest. And that will be it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye!